What is up, everybody? Welcome to Istanbul, Turkey. This is my new home for the next few months. I just arrived 4 days ago, and I kind of nailed the whole uh, no jet lag thing. And so I went out the night that I arrived here. I arrived about 9:30 p.m. I went straight out to get to know the town, and I loaded up my first film roll. And in my mind, I wasn't going to have anything to show you for maybe a month or so because I had planned on shipping the film all the way home to my lab in California, waiting a week for it to arrive, another couple of weeks for it to be developed. And lo and behold, I discovered a film lab just about 2.5 kilometers from my apartment here that can develop and send me scans within an hour. And the scans were badass. Sorry, Profoto, I still love you. But the scans were huge scans, and it cost me a whopping $7 to develop that roll in an hour and get those scans. So that's what I'm going to show you today. I shot a whole roll in the last 2 days. It took me about 2 days to kind of acclimate to the vibe here and figure out how to really approach people. And my mistake in the beginning was trying to approach people who only spoke a little bit of English, and that really didn't get me anywhere. And so what I ended up doing is just typing, "May I please take your photo," on my phone in the Google Translate app. I showed that phone to people and nearly got a 100% success rate. So this entire roll, with the exception of a few shots, is just going to be portraits of the men of Istanbul, and then a few street shots. And I don't normally do those, but I really, really love this neighborhood, so I want to show you some of that. So with no further ado, let's get right to it, and I will tell you all about each photo. So while I was filming that intro, that little black blurb you saw in the corner was a cop, and he told me it was illegal to film on this street. Whoops. I stopped this guy in his tracks for obvious reasons, and after I took his photo, he pulled out a book, and I thought he maybe wanted me to buy it, and it turns out that he was a movie star in the 60s or 50s, it looked like, and he showed me photos of him in the movies. Pretty awesome. You can find men who look like this on every street, down every alleyway, through all of Istanbul. And it's like I'm a kid in a candy store. This face, this attitude, how nonchalant he was just a dream. And there's lots more guys like him. This guy's reaction was a lot like most people who I photograph on the street, which is total shock that I even wanted to choose them to photograph. And he was very happy when I showed him the phone and asked him to be photographed. This guy, I was sitting next to getting some rest under a tree, and he just had the most incredible personality. This guy is always posted up right down the street from my apartment, and he's one of the locals who just sits on the same street corner every single day. Really magical face. I guess I can say the same thing about all these guys. Just look at these incredible details of their faces, and there's absolutely no pretense in any of these people. It just goes on and on. The same thing with all these guys. Just such incredible style. You can see all the stories in every lines of their face. This is such a dream being in this place. And I know I am falling under the spell of, having a little bit of culture shock and the different bone structure. And actually, I do that when I'm at home, when it's tourist season, I can spot people who aren't from where I live just by their bone structure, and I'm the guy with the abnormal bone structure here. This is a scene right here that I've been wanting to do more of because there's so many guys playing backgammon or some other game on the street corner, and I want to get more of that. This is one of the few candid shots I got, which was very difficult to do with the camera I have. But I saw this guy, he just looked like something out of a Popeye movie or something. This guy was super, super cool. His wife came walking up to me and asked, "What do you want with him?" Not super angry, but I told him, "Oh, you married a very handsome man." And then she got very happy and she wanted to get in a photo with him. And she was so happy that I affirmed that she made a good choice in a husband. Really, really great couple. This guy was happy to follow my instructions and do a little pose, blowing the cigarette smoke and looking away. And the other thing too about Istanbul, a lot like New York, where there's just incredible shade all day long in between these little alleyways because of the tall buildings, and it's perfect light everywhere you go. This is a little rubber duck or rubber chicken salesman. He actually was illiterate. He couldn't read the phone, and so I Did what I don't normally do is I snuck away and I just got a picture of him because I really love that guy. This guy, I mean, what do you need to say? Looks like he hunted Moby Dick at some point in his life. This guy on the right, he saw me setting up the shot and he quickly flexed a little bit and put on his sunglasses. I think he's been photographed quite a lot by tourists. This is a candid shot, very rare, but I wanted to get some part of the city, and this guy I thought was a really great foreground for that city shot in the back with the mosque. Here's a light leak that happened in my similar last roll, and I saw it happening in the moment, but it was quick, and I figured, screw it, let's see what happens. And I don't think it hurts the shot. This is a candid shot. This and the next one are candid. I just thought the whole scene, this guy was dumping water all over himself, which I missed. But between him with the no shirt and the bald head and the giant cruise ship in the background, this is like, it was like it could be taken in Greece or someplace like that. Like, what a scene. The colors, the light, everything. The light here is so gorgeous. This guy, I asked to take his photo, and he said yes. But then he saw my dirty Crocs, and he asked to clean them. I said, why not? And so I gave him $5. And I'm actually happy to pay for people, even if they're not down on their luck. I'm happy to pay people when I photograph them like this because they are adding value to my life. So he got $5 out of me, and I got some clean Crocs. This guy was the third to last photo on the roll, and I took this photo, and then this guy said, "Hey, what about me?" And that's happened a few times before in my life, and so I figured, screw it, I got two more shots. I was walking to the lab, and I took this guy's photo. Ah, this is absolutely heartbreaking. This guy had one of the best faces, and if you've ever used a Nikon SP, the little window that you use to focus, you have two sort of like a ghost image over the regular image that you're supposed to match up, and some sort types of light, it just is very difficult to do, and I just blew it. I almost want to find this guy again and reshoot this. Now here's where I start this sort of cityscapes. I don't normally shoot stuff like this, but this is so different than where I live, and all the colors and just the cobblestone streets and the lights and people milling around everywhere. It's just an absolute dream. And I actually think my next roll, it's a roll of Ektar 100. I think I'm going to shoot a lot of stuff like this for that roll. I'm going to push myself to shoot more just cityscapes, not portraits. I'm sure I'll do some portraits, but there's so many gorgeous streets around here, and I want to do a lot of stuff like that. Now, if you know anything about Istanbul, you know that there's as many cats as there are people, and they're almost worshipped here. So this is the only cat shot I did. I told myself I'm not going to do a lot of cat shots. This was the last shot on the roll, and I shot it 5 seconds before I went and turned in the roll. And bing, bang, boom, there you go. Anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Leave me a comment if you have anything to say about these photos, or if any requests while I'm here in Istanbul. I'm happy to accommodate all of you, and I appreciate you for watching. Talk to you later.